So I read Absolute Batman Trade Paperback Volume 1, The Zoo, and Absolute Superman Volume 1. So Absolute Batman, I have like mixed thoughts on it. So I thought I'll share. I made some notes also, and I've taken some images which I'll show. So this like combines kind of a metal kind of aesthetic where Batman is like very kick-ass, and he the action is obviously the highlight of it. I would say the action is like something better than the writing in this one, because the writing it meanders, but maybe in subsequent volumes it finds like the tone, and there is already two trade paperback worth of issues that have come out in this. But in terms of the story, it obviously it's like a dark origin, so they are trying to do it like an alternate timeline, and Batman retains that kind of, like that Ben Affleck Batman, like Snyderverse types, and he's very metal and very strong. But then there is also like an origin story which goes in parallel. So Batman has a friendship with all these characters, like Selina and the Riddler, and then they have a past also. So Bruce is not the kind of millionaire, but he has like interactions with his father, and the zoo forms like an important kind of element in this. And then there is these antagonists that are being developed, the underworld and criminals, and there is this whole thing called party animals. And so overall I liked it, and I think what they're trying to also do is trying to redo the things. So if you have like Arkham Asylum, they are trying to do it like these are like black sites which are called arcs. So it's like arc A, arc B, and arc A was the first, and arc B in Russia, arc C is in China, and things like that. Another cool element in this is this entire weapon and the suit design. So the book, the trade paperback, has that kind of all the sketches in the so there is a hook, and there is like boots that are designed, batarangs and tethers, and how the Batman glides and walks. So I thought that was interesting. And he has a big bat axe. Kind of stories like gang of mass killers terrorize the street of Gotham, and vigilante fights for his city, but he's not the Batman. Born out of Justice League's apocalyptic battle with Darkseid, ushers in a set of brand new realities. Reimagine your favorite heroes. So that's the like the intro of the Absolute Universe, and where we have a young Bruce Wayne with no Wayne Manor, no Alfred, and a different axe to grind as the Dark Knight. So this is the kind of synopsis with it. Like the Batman is without the mansion, without the money, without the butler, and what's left is absolute Dark Knight. So I don't know why they're calling it Absolute Dark Knight also. And here are some of my notes. So the Batman and Alfred team up, but are not in the way you would expect. No, they are not adversaries. Also, they both have their own ways of fighting crime. And then you see like young Bruce hanging out with characters like Riddler, and he's talking about building a mask and some. And there is also like real world examples which will relate oddly to the current time. So there is things alluded like cryptocurrency and stuff. So I don't know which time period is it based in. Each chapter explores a major character and also develops the overall plot with the party animals as like this major dark unit. There is also Gordon and Harvey race for the mayor, but more focus is on Gordon as an underdog, or he like gathers some sympathy. I like this chapter with young Bruce talking about architecture, bats, crime fighting, and there's also this whole meta comic. I think it's the chapter 3, which I thought was pretty cool. The art was like Frank Miller kind of tribute. The Joker is being subtly built for like the thousandth time now. Not a big fan of it. Story jumps back and forth between Bruce's childhood and his current dialogue with Alfred, so they have like this ideological divide. Roman Sionis is the Black Mask and is also developed as a villain. And there's the whole chapter where they have this whole wrestling thing where he wears this mask kind of thing, like a gas mask or something. And that chapter is very high on action. So overall, it's about okay. I'm still divided whether it's like 6 on 10 or 7 on 10. The action and the art is definitely a big plus here. Batman lore is being pushed and detailed with another angle. The entertainment factor, this being the first trade paperback, I thought was a bit low. and so it's like anything that you see, like the content that comes out these days. So I don't know if it's intended, but this is something I'm feeling with the Superman and Batman absolute books. Wonder Woman also, but then Wonder Woman I felt is the best that I've read so far in these books. So these are my thoughts on absolute Batman. Coming now to Absolute Superman. This one is called Last Dust of Krypton. It's written by Jason Aaron with art by Rafa Sandoval. Art is a big highlight in this. It's not like something I have felt, but it is very overtly like a social commentary on classism and things like all the elements. Now they are replaced by something else. So Superman's origin lands as a baby at a farm of the Kents and so on in Kansas, but this has been changed. So this one it takes back to its like class commentary kind of thing, and Superman is a champion of the oppressed. So it's essentially a modernization with the kind of social justice commentary, but in terms of the very elements that it takes is the new Krypton. It's built on like new Krypton. So unlike the scientific utopia, so we knew Krypton as like that planet which was destroyed, and then this baby landed, and let's see what Superman does and fights aliens now. That is not the case in this one. Here they show a very detailed, so almost 80% of the book happens on Krypton. There is like technocracy there. Society is divided into high class science league and a lower class labor force. So the iconic S, which was a symbol for hope in earlier movies and comics, it's not a symbol of hope or family crest, but is a class mark for laborers. Then there is a story that is going on in Earth. So Kal-El reaches Earth, and the everything is like a mirror to Krypton. So what failures happened in Krypton, writer and the book shows it like, see, the same thing happens if you don't take care of it. So it's like very overt kind of commentary. And there's like this large corporation called Lazarus Corporation. If it rings a bell, then you know what happens. So it's a global entity that exploits the migrant workers in Brazilian diamond mines. So there is a lot of things around like people who are suffering, and there is this mine kind of element that is shown in Krypton also. And direct correlation is not drawn between like what did that lead to the downfall of Krypton or not. What is shown as, if science does not advance, if social justice is not brought about, then lead to a doom or downfall. So villains here again like a big corporations, peacekeeping forces, ironically called peacemakers, and private army, corrupt bureaucracy. It's a social activism kind of backdrop that is created. There is also things like environmental allegory. So Krypton's destruction is linked to the Science League's hubris and refusal to listen to workers' warnings about the ecological collapse, and this never-ending like kind of blind pursuit of mining. So you don't really get like that innocence of Clark Kent in this. It's very dark. Like people are liking this because it's challenging also the readers, but I'm not a big fan of like, I pick up a Superman book not to read mindless things, but something that is done like Man for All Seasons or All Star Superman. Goes in terms of the Superman, the Absolute Superman book is, it's a brave reimagining. It successfully returns Superman to the radical like champion of the oppressed, like early 1930s Superman, anti-establishment. Art is great. Rafa Sandoval's work is very great, very detailed. So there's art is also great, coloring is also great, and there's a lot of emotion that is conveyed through the book. And it's not just like, you know, close up of the faces. You see a larger backdrop, and Krypton is always exciting, I feel, to explore in Superman books, and that has been done with a lot of glee and a lot of fun. So yeah, class divide is also done. Cons again like lacks the kind of innocence or the superhero factor, the big blue boy scout kind of boy on the farm kind of thing. Political messaging also is there, and anti-corporate, like it gets like too black and white sometimes. And compared to the Absolute Batman book, I felt that Absolute Superman was kind of slower paced with fewer cloud pleasing moments. So those looking for a new kind of story with Superman will enjoy it. I didn't get the references to Peacemaker, but you don't need to know much. Like it's clearly uh, like explained in the book. But other than that, I felt the same way I felt like watching the new Superman movie. Like a lot of things are attempted, but like inconsistent. This whole thing about Superman being savior of the oppressed, that was also created or developed, like that Jarhanpur and all that, Bolivia and whatever. That takes like the center stage, and superhero telling kind of like the tale, superhero elements like take a back seat. So I think that's a intended thing, and people are also accepting it. So that's fine. Personally, for me, it's like somewhere between 6 out of 10. So I would still rate Absolute Batman a bit higher than Absolute Superman. Um, it's great to look at Absolute Superman, but if I were to like keep it in my collection, I would pick up Batman title. And this is purely my view based on volume one of these. And Absolute Wonder Woman is my favorite so far. Interestingly, I also happened to read Absolute Flash and Absolute Green Lantern. Green Lantern I didn't like at all, but Absolute Flash I kind of liked. It's written by Jeff Lemire, and at least the superhero element was quite cool in it, and the art was also great. So Nick Robles does the art and the cover on Absolute Flash, and it's called Absolute Flash in of Two Worlds Part One. So I will wait to see if the trade paperback comes at a lesser price, but I'll be keen to see what happens in Absolute Flash. And I'm also waiting for my Absolute Martian Manhunter to come so that I can review it. So this is my wrap of the Absolute titles: Absolute Batman, Superman, uh, kind of a hint about Flash, and upcoming is Martian Manhunter. So Absolute Wonder Woman still remains my favorite. I'll link my video. I reviewed it in great detail. Thanks for watching.